In a world of fantasy and magic, we see a kid, Lloyd, trying to catch a rabbit, but the rabbit is just toying with him. The rabbit finally makes its escape by using Lloyd as a liftoff pad. Lloyd has already given up on the rabbit when he hears someone call his name. Shoma, who stands as a big brother to Lloyd, appears from the woods with the rabbit in his hand. Lloyd is happy to see his brother and jumps into his arms. It turns out that Shoma has just returned from a journey from outside the village, and Lloyd cannot wait to start visiting the outside world too. Shoma gives Lloyd a book as a souvenir, and he happily receives the book that has the painting of a dragon on its cover. Years later, we see Lloyd knocking at an apartment door. He is asked to enter, and when he does, we see a woman sitting inside and minding her business. Lloyd asks the woman if she is Marie, the witch of the East Side. Lloyd introduces himself and states his purpose. He has been told to come and stay with the witch. She screams at Lloyd, saying that her house is not an inn and he should find someplace else. Lloyd then reveals that he is from a village in the countryside called Kunloon. Marie asks what their chief's name is, and Lloyd says Alka. Lloyd brings out a crystal that Alka gave him. A bright light emerges from the crystal ball, and it projects Alka's image. Immediately upon seeing this, Marie falls to her knees, and we realize that Alka was her master. Alka informs Marie that Lloyd will be staying with her in preparation for his entrance into the military. Marie wants to ask a question, but Alka lets her know that the video she is watching is pre-recorded. Marie hears this and starts to punch the crystal ball. Marie almost has a heart attack when Alka reveals that she was lying about the video being pre-recorded. Marie starts sweating and she goes back to her knees again. After telling Marie to take care of Lloyd, she ends the call. Marie angrily picks up the crystal ball and throws it inside the closet while also calling Alka a funny name, Lowly Grandma. Marie informs Lloyd of the room where he will be staying and he leaves. After his departure, Marie starts having the thought that Lloyd is actually a sweet boy. Just then, Alka emerges from the closet and Marie is terrified. Alka warns Marie about having any unusual thoughts concerning Lloyd because he is her favorite. Also, Marie wonders how Alka manages to enter the room, and she reveals that she used the crystal ball as a gateway. Before leaving, Alka tells Marie that she has put a curse on her that will bring her small misfortunes anytime she calls her Lowly Grandma. Marie realizes that she is in trouble when she slips because of the curse that has been placed on her. That still doesn't stop her from calling her master Lowly Grandma. The next morning, Marie wakes to see that Lloyd already prepared pancakes for breakfast. Marie asks him why he wants to become a soldier, and Lloyd replies that he is the weakest in his village. He developed an interest in justice after he read a book about a strong and noble hero. Lloyd reveals that it took him 6 days from Kunloon to get to Miami. Marie almost loses her mind when she realizes that Lloyd actually ran all the way without using any mode of transportation, and this boy claims to be weak. Marie asks if he ran into monsters, and he says no, he only ran into giant locusts and several big, unusual animals. Lloyd only counts the demon lord as a monster and not the giant locusts and the like. Marie could not believe what she was hearing. The giant locusts that Lloyd doesn't take to heart are actually monsters, and he just eliminates them with ease. Lloyd also casts a rune which he calls basic, but Marie cannot take it anymore. It actually took her 3 years to learn to cast the rune that Lloyd had just cast and called a simple rune. Marie had to hit her head against the wall just to have a sense of what was going on. Later on, we see a guy with a giant axe asking a lady if she is the Belt Princess. The girl ignores him and continues into an alley. She is then attacked by a giant locust. She tries to fight back, but the locust disarms her with the wind from its wings. The girl accepts her fate and is about to be terminated when Lloyd arrives and takes care of the locust in one move. He casually carries the locust and throws it away. Lloyd is about to leave when the girl calls him back and introduces herself as Selin. He wipes the dust off her face with the handkerchief that he cast a disenchanting rune on earlier that day. Lloyd introduces himself also and leaves. That night, Selin gets home and takes off her armor. We get to see that there is a magical belt wrapped around her head, and this is why she is known as the Belt Princess. She has been cursed with the belt, and this has caused her shame for so long. Selin gets angry that she won't be able to properly face Lloyd because of the belt. She tries to rip off the belt, and, surprisingly, the belt comes off. It dawns on her that Lloyd must have been the person that lifted the curse because he is blessed with immense strength. Selen is happy, and she calls Lloyd her person of destiny. At the military academy, we see two army officers, Jolene and Merthuhin, using binoculars to assess the people who have come to take the military entrance examination. Merthuhin says the kingdom needs to be prepared in case the Jew wants to attack. The princess has been missing for some years now, and there has been no development towards that. One of the candidates is a one-armed mercenary girl, Rio Flavin, and she has been promised that all her wrongdoings will be overlooked once she joins the army. Another candidate is the giant axe guy Alan Twain Lidocaine, and he is the family's heir. Selen is also there to take the examination, and everyone is surprised that she is very beautiful without the belt around her head. Selen sees Lloyd in the distance, and she quickly runs over to meet him. She thanks him for saving her the other day. All the candidates soon get ready to show what they are capable of. Marie and Alka are both confident that Lloyd will pass the test without any difficulties. During the announcement of the test results, Merthuhin and Jolene couldn't find Lloyd's test result, and they start to wonder if he failed. Rio and Selen are both going crazy inside the waiting hall because they can't find Lloyd. Jolene informs the newly accepted candidates that anyone who finds the princess, who has been missing for 5 years now, will receive enormous rewards. Lloyd is already on his way home with the belief that he failed the examination when he didn't see his results. He sees a restaurant looking for a waiter and assistant, and he decides to apply. He enters the cafeteria and finds it empty. He announces his arrival for anyone who is available. Just then, the owner of the establishment, Chrome, appears from the pantry. Chrome launches an attack at Lloyd, but he swiftly dodges it. Chrome could see the type of powerful aura emanating from Lloyd's body, and he believes that he is there to attack or question him. Turns out that Chrome is the former captain of the Royal Guard, but he gave up his position after the princess got missing under his watch. Lloyd tells Chrome that he is there to apply for the assistant job. He claims that he can cook and clean, but Chrome doesn't believe it. Lloyd then prepares a dish of risotto for Chrome. Chrome enjoys the meal and immediately tells Lloyd that he is hired. Chrome hired Lloyd so he can be watching him. He doesn't want someone as powerful as him to be roaming around unchecked. Meanwhile, at the academy, Jolene examines Lloyd's test answers and realizes that he actually got the answers correctly. He answered the questions with ancient runes. Jolene demands to know who interviewed Lloyd, and when they ask the interviewer about Lloyd, he claims that he didn't believe Lloyd because he claimed to be able to summon rain. With everything Jolene has seen, she believes that Lloyd might be capable of such a feat because he holds some special magical powers. Lloyd gets home to inform Alka and Marie that he failed the test, and Alka is furious because she does not know how Lloyd could have failed. She threatens to wipe out the kingdom, but Marie begs her not to. Lloyd tells the duo that he still wishes to write the exam again next year. He begs Marie that he would still like to stay at her place, and she accepts. Alka reluctantly accepts the deal also. After Lloyd leaves to make dinner, Alka informs Marie that she will make a room for herself inside the house also. She can't afford to take her eyes off Lloyd. Marie then asks Alka to help the kingdom since she still has a lot of strength to spare. Everything in the kingdom is getting worse, and the king is under someone's influence. The king is no longer afraid to go to war even if it spells danger for the kingdom. The National Foundation Festival is coming, and the king might declare war on that day because many foreign heads of state will be in attendance. Alka reminds Marie that they cannot interfere in human squabbles. Loon can only come in if the problem is beyond human comprehension, like a demon lord or an epic disaster. Alka warns Marie not to involve Lloyd in the kingdom's affairs because once she does, Lloyd will be taken back to the village. Before leaving, Alka reminds Marie about the lowly grandma curse. Marie had already called her lowly grandma before the warning, and she suffers a cramp in her leg. After Alka's departure, Marie takes the crystal ball and throws it inside a well. Up next, Rio and Merthuhin are seen talking inside Chrome's cafeteria. Merthuhin is surprised to see many people patronizing the cafeteria. The duo is surprised when they see Lloyd working at the restaurant. Chrome sends Lloyd to dispose of the trash. Chrome informs Merthuhin that he is aware of the boy's strength. Lloyd is walking back to the restaurant after taking care of the trash when he sees Marie enter an alley. He wonders what Marie is doing in the alley. Elsewhere, Alan challenges Selen to a duel. He launches an attack at her, But the magical belt repels the attack and Selin counts it as one of Lloyd's blessings. Lloyd, Jolene, Rio and Merthuin get to the scene almost at the same time. Selin then asks Lloyd to fight Alan in her stead. Jolene and Merthuin don't want the fight to happen, but Alan says he is up for it. He even asks Lloyd to go all out against him. Jolene and Merthuin start getting scared that Alan might die from this. Lloyd is about to punch Alan when a wind appears from nowhere and whisks Lloyd away. Lloyd soon realizes that the wind is a result of Marie's magic and she is the one that saved him from the scene. Chrome finds the duo and reveals that he recognized the wind magic also. He tells Lloyd to make his way to the cafeteria while he has a discussion with Marie. During their conversation, we find out that Marie is the missing princess. She went undercover to learn magic from Alka so she can help the kingdom. Up next, Jolene asks Merthuin why he is so passionate about recruiting more people into the army. Merthuin reveals that the Geo Empire attacked his village when he was small and the kingdom couldn't stand up to them. He doesn't want what happened to him to happen to someone else. Meanwhile, Jolene has tasked Selin and Rio to find Lloyd and the princess. Selin informs Rio that she knows a witch's house that they can go to for information. The duo knocks on the door and Lloyd opens up. Selin's face turns blue when she realizes that Lloyd is staying in the witch's house. Rio teases Selin about this because Selin has been going around lying that she and Lloyd are lovers. How could you not know your lover's house? Minutes later, Marie gets back home to find out that they have visitors. Rio tells her the purpose of their visit. She shows her a picture of the princess and Marie starts acting weird. Rio notices the resemblance, but she doesn't want to be too forward. Marie agrees to trade information with the duo. She wants to know the condition of the king and how the kingdom is being governed. Marie realizes that Lloyd is about to get involved in the discussion, and she intentionally says some hurtful words to him about how weak he is. Lloyd is hurt, and he leaves the room in tears. After his departure, Marie asks the duo if they are ready to help her root out those who are willing to take down the royal family. She finally confesses to the duo that she is Princess Maria Azumi, whom they have been looking for. Marie informs the duo that she intentionally chased Lloyd away because she has received strict instructions not to involve him in the political affairs of the kingdom. Marie says the reason why the culprit who has been manipulating the king hasn't made a move because the person wants to get rid of her first. The culprit does not want the people to see the princess as a symbol of peace. After hearing all this, Rio and Selin agree to help. Maria is sitting on the roof and thinking of how to free her father using the disenchanting rune when Alka shows up. Alka appreciates her for not involving Lloyd in state affairs. Alka tells Marie that she has put another curse on her to make her end all her sentences with a meow. This is her punishment for throwing the crystal ball inside the well. Alka found herself inside the well when she arrived back in town. Later on, Rio and Selin start questioning crooks who have been looking for the princess. The crooks reveal that the person who put them up to the task usually says one phrase, "For the peace of the kingdom." Later that night, Alka is preparing a date night to cheer Lloyd up. Suddenly, giant locusts attack the marketplace. Now at the palace, Chrome is seen on his knees asking the king to reinstate him into the royal guard. Mardahan is also present. Mardahan tells Chrome that he can go and the king will get to him after making a decision. Just then, Chrome reveals that he is aware of Myrtlehand's betrayal. He is the one accustomed to saying the phrase, "For the peace of the kingdom." Myrdahan doesn't deny it and says the kingdom is too weak and they need to go to war with the Jew Empire. He has been the one manipulating the king all this while. Just then, Rio, Selin, and the princess arrive. The king who has been backing them faces them and reveals his scary-looking face. They ask what Myrdahan did to the king. He reveals that he only made the king his puppet and nothing more. The moment he says this, the king throws him to the wall and says he has not been controlling him. It turns out that Myrdahan released something or someone that has now taken possession of the king. The king holds Myrdahan and uses dark magic to change him into a beast-like person. The king then makes his way to the throne room. Rio, Selin, and Chrome stay behind to deal with Myrdahan while Marie chases after the king. A fierce battle ensues between the king and the princess. He stabs Marie and leaves her to die, but Marie is not ready to die yet because she has not apologized to Lloyd. Just then, the entity that has possessed the king reveals himself as the demon Lord Abaden. At the marketplace, Lloyd takes care of all the giant locusts and other monsters like they are nothing. He realizes that Marie might be in trouble and starts making his way to the palace. Inside the palace, Maria is furious that she didn't quickly realize that what they are dealing with is the demon Lord. Things would have been much easier if Lloyd was involved. She is very excited that Lloyd and Alka will have no choice but to interfere. She starts to run away, but the demon Lord chases her. On his way to the palace, Lloyd finds Alan cowering behind a trash bin because he is scared of the monsters. Lloyd gives him an encouraging speech about how a soldier is meant to protect the citizens and shouldn't be afraid of danger. During his speech, a monster attacks and Lloyd takes care of it like it's nothing. Lloyd assures Alan that he is stronger than him. It looks like Lloyd doesn't even know the strength he has. After Lloyd's departure, a monster tries to attack a girl, and Alan summons the courage to face the monster and eliminate it. Alan realizes that he can face anything once he puts his mind to it. On the other hand, Alka has also realized that Abaden is at work. She conjures a big magic circle which she uses to rain down attacks on Abaden's minions. On the other hand, Rio, Celine, and Chrome are still having a hard time dealing with Murdahan. Celine steps up to face Murdahan, and all the attacks he throws at her are repelled by the magical belt that is around Celine's waist. As the battle rages, Lloyd arrives at the scene. Murdahan tries to attack Lloyd, but he just pushes him off like he is nothing. Lloyd starts to say motivating words to Murdahan about how good he is. The words start to reach him, and all of Abaden's influence begins to wear off. However, Lloyd misplaces a word, and Murdahan starts to lose his grip again. Just because of one word that Lloyd misplaced, Murdahan loses grip over his human mind again. Lloyd had no idea what was going on, and just believed that Murdahan was wearing a costume and acting drunk. He has all the strength in the world, but doesn't have the brains. Lloyd had to headbutt Murdahan just to knock him out. Lloyd rushes away from the scene when he is informed that Maria is in danger. Lloyd finds Abaden chasing Marie, and he steps in. Marie is happy to see Lloyd, and she apologizes for what she said earlier on. Lloyd still believes that the person in front of him is dressed in a king's costume and just having a role play. Marie realizes that Lloyd isn't aware of what is going on, and she tricks him. She tells him to use his enchanted handkerchief to wipe the king's face. Lloyd uses the handkerchief to wipe the king's face, and Abaden's spirit gets expelled from the king's body immediately. To spice things up, Maria is suffering from the meow curse that Alka placed on her. Later on, Lloyd runs into Shoma in the marketplace, and he shows his happiness by hugging him. Shoma reveals that he is in Azami to deliver some goods. Lloyd looks back when he hears Alka calling him. He turns back to face Shoma, but realizes that he is nowhere to be found. Lloyd informs Alka that Shoma was with him just a moment ago. We later find out that Murdahan was sent to Kunloon for restitution. He is to help them with whatever they want to do. Alka shows him a wheat field that grows all year round because it has been enchanted. This serves as a source of food in case there is famine. Murdahan realizes that Kunloon was responsible for providing relief materials for his village after they were attacked by the Geo Empire. Soon afterward, Lloyd is recruited into the army. It turns out that Alan used his appreciation spot to grant Lloyd the opportunity to be accepted into the army. Alan also sees Lloyd as his master now because he is the one that helped him on the day of the monster's attack. Alka sees the magical belt around Salen's waist and wonders how she came to be in possession of it. The belt is made from the skin of the divine beast Vitra. It protects the wearer from all evil. The artifact belongs to Loon, and Alka is surprised to see it in Azami. Days later, Lloyd escorts Marie to the Holy Sword Village. The village has a sword buried in the rock that so many powerful people have tried to remove but failed. Lloyd gets to the site and removes the sword without much effort. The village's chief freaks out and wonders about such power Lloyd possesses. The chief laments that the sword site acts as a source of tourism in the village, but it's now gone. Marie assures him that a replica will be used to replace the sword and everything should be just fine. Soon afterward, Colleen enters the class to inform the students that she will be picking candidates for the upcoming inter-school match against Rokuju Sorcery Academy. The event happens annually, and Azami Military School has been on a losing streak for the past couple of years. Colleen takes them to the practice ground to lecture them. There are 3 major types of magic. The first one is chance. Secondly is conduits, where you use magical stones and staves. And lastly, we have sigils, where you inscribe pictures and texts. The students are presented with an anti-magic dummy. Jolene asks them to practice with the dummy. Rio, Salen, and the others use their magic against the dummy, but it easily absorbs it. The dummy and a quarter of the fence are destroyed when it is Lloyd's turn to test his magical ability. Later on, Celine asks Colleen to teach her how to use healing magic. Rio, Lloyd, and Alan also join in to get lessons on healing magic. Alan is the unfortunate one when they needed a test subject to practice on. Celine wastes no time kicking Alan in the crotch, so he can be used to teach the rest of them. It is said that healing magic is the hardest to learn. Maria is enjoying a cup of coffee when two girls enter the house. They introduce themselves as Mina and Philo Kinwon. It turns out that the duo are sisters. They show her a picture of Rio and say they are looking for her. Before Marie could answer, Lloyd gets back from school. As he opens the door, Mina launches a powerful roundhouse kick at Lloyd, but he takes in the kick like it's nothing. Lloyd sees the picture and immediately spills the beans without even knowing what was happening. Before Mina is surprised that Lloyd could take her attack without feeling anything, she asks Lloyd to be her master. She wants to start doing naughty things with Lloyd, and Marie quickly throws the sisters out. Lloyd reveals that one of his ribs is broken, but it will heal in under 3 hours. Lloyd's abilities are just so magnificent that Marie needs to get used to them very soon. Lloyd leaves to make dinner, and Alka arrives. She turns Marie into a butterfly for going on a journey to the Holy Sword Village with Lloyd without her. Up next, Colleen reveals that she wants to win the inter-school competition so badly because Rokuju's headmaster, Roll, is her longtime rival. She is still saying this when Roll shows up. It turns out that Rio also knows Roll from somewhere. Roll is the one that sent the Kinwon sisters to look for Rio. After this encounter, Rio's mood changes, and she doesn't act lively as she did before. Lloyd seeks advice from Marie, and she suggests that he take her out on a date. The following day, Lloyd asks Rio out on a date. Rio is surprised, but she accepts. Inside the restaurant, Lloyd asks Rio to tell him why her mood has suddenly changed. Meanwhile, Celine is spying on them because she is jealous and she is curious about what will happen between the two. Rio reveals that she grew up in an orphanage and Roll was also in the orphanage too. Roll could perform magic, but Rio is basically useless because of her left arm. One day, Roll comes to the orphanage with a mithril prosthetic arm. Rio thought Roll was helping her, but she only gave her the arm to boost her magical abilities. Roll wanted Rio to help her pull out the holy sword, but Rio eventually ran away and she has been on the run ever since. Roll has been responsible for the allegations that have been put against Rio. Rio also informs Lloyd that the arm cannot be taken off, and it has been sucking her magic since. Celine finally shows her face and reveals that she has been hearing everything they have been discussing. She encourages Rio and assures her that all her friends are there for her. Up next, a second-year student, Makona, doesn't want Lloyd to participate in the competition. She challenges Philo just to prove that she is strong, but Philo defeats her easily, and she leaves in shame. Makona makes her way to Marie's house, and we get to find out that the duo are friends. Marie starts to attend to Makona's wound, but she immediately shifts her attention toward Lloyd when he returns from school. Makona leaves the house in tears. We later see her crying in the rain, and Shoma comes to comfort her. Makona reveals that someone stole her love from her. By that, she means Lloyd is now the one enjoying all the attention Marie did give her before. On the day of the tournament, Roll decides to participate in the tournament when she learns that the winner will receive the Holy Sword as a reward. Seeing that Roll will be competing, Colleen decides to add Lloyd as one of the people representing Azami Military School. She had earlier told Lloyd that he won't be participating because he is too powerful, but she cannot afford to lose to Roll. The referee tells them the rules of the competition and calls out the first competitors. Philo is to fight Celine. Philo attacks Celine with magical blasters, but the belt repels everything. Celine uses the belt to hold Philo and disarm her. Celine is disqualified because physical attacks are not accepted. This gives Rokuju the lead in the tournament. The next contestants to face off are Mina and Lloyd. Mina tries to suffocate Lloyd by putting a water sphere around his head, but Lloyd is still standing even after 20 minutes. Mina is frustrated and she creates an aqua wall around Lloyd, but Lloyd causes the spell to self-destruct and knock out Mina instead. Lloyd is declared the winner of the round. The final contestants are Riho and Roll. A fierce battle ensues between the duo, and Roll removes the prosthetic arm on Riho's arm to prevent her from using magic. Roll believes that she has won until Riho conjures a magic punch to knock her over. She reveals that she embedded a magic stone in her other arm and used healing magic to hide it. Riho manages to use the remaining power in the stone to defeat Roll. Azumi is declared the winner of the tournament after they take 2 of 3 points. Later on, Roll gives Philo the task of retrieving the holy sword from Marie. Philo gets to Marie's house, but she is indisposed because she is still suffering from the curse that Alka placed on her. Philo enters the house and sees the crystal ball on the floor. She believes that Marie uses the ball as a gateway and decides to steal it. She leaves a note that Lloyd should bring the sword if he wants to see Marie again. Lloyd arrives home to find the note, and he believes that Roll has Marie. He and Alan start rushing to the meetup location. Philo is informed that Lloyd is on his way with the sword, and she decides to meet him halfway and challenge him to a duel. Lloyd realizes that Philo is stubborn and will not give up. He gives the sword to Alan so he can protect it while he fights Philo. Just then, Lloyd proposes a match of arm wrestling to settle their differences, and Philo accepts. This is a method that Lloyd's grandpa uses in settling disputes in their village. The arm wrestling begins, and Philo turns out to be very powerful also. They even take the battle to the sky, but in the end, Lloyd manages to win. Mina joins them on the scene, and she takes care of Roll's assistant, who has been sent to collect the sword. Philo wants Lloyd to marry her because she sees him as a worthy adversary. Roll watches from the tower where she is and realizes that the sisters have betrayed her. She gets angry and tries to destroy the crystal ball. Just then, Alka emerges from the ball, and she is furious to see an unknown face standing in front of her. She attacks her with a magic spell that throws her into the river, but Alan still runs over to save her. Up next, we get to see that Roll was working for someone. The mastermind's aim is to obtain the sword and kill Alka. Up next, Seelan shows up looking all gloomy. Turns out that all the date plans she has for her and Lloyd are about to be ruined because she has been summoned by her family. The school is preparing for their major vacation break, and they have all made plans. Seelan starts thinking of setting her home ablaze just so she can leave and be with Lloyd. Riho is also interested in having Lloyd to herself. Lloyd arrives home to find Marie and Alka fighting over who would go with Lloyd on his vacation break. Lloyd then informs the duo that Chrome has given him a part-time job throughout the summer break. The hotel is short of staff, and Lloyd has been recommended by Chrome to work for them for the meantime. Alka and Marie still want to follow him to the hotel, but Lloyd humbly refuses. Up next, Lloyd arrives at the hotel and meets with the owner, Koba. Koba is surprised that the person Chrome sent to him is very powerful. Koba reveals that he was once an officer in the Royal Guard also. Koba says some strange things have been happening in the hotel, and that's the reason he contacted the government through Chrome. Chrome decided to send Lloyd to help out. Koba introduces Lloyd to the senior employee worker that he hired. The girl introduces herself as Kiki, and she quickly states that she is a senior to Lloyd since she came first. To test Lloyd's ability to work, Kiki asks him to clean the hotel. She wants to torture Lloyd, but she doesn't know who she is dealing with. In under 1 minute, Lloyd is done cleaning the hotel. Kiki cannot believe her eyes, and while she is still trying to fathom what happened, Lloyd cleans the skylight also. Everywhere is sparkling clean, and Koba himself is also surprised. Kiki asks Koba what is up with Lloyd, but Koba tells her that it is a secret. Up next, Koba gives Lloyd his own uniform and informs him that they are expecting a major client. Koba wants Lloyd to help with the reception because the client is not always satisfied with anything they do. Soon afterward, the client, Lord Threnine, arrives at the hotel. Threnine stands at his room window and observes the cypress tree plantation in the distance. Lloyd uses this to start a conversation with him, and he ends up liking Lloyd because he knows about trees. Later that night, we see Threnine meeting up with Kiki. It turns out that Kiki is secretly working for the noble. Threnine mentions the attacks that have been happening in the hotel and attributes them to the effective Trents that might be living in the forests. Threnine adds that a lord wants to arrange a marriage for his son. The said lord has been buying Trents and has amassed wealth from it. This is the reason Threnine has agreed to the marriage, because he needs proof. Threnine then informs Kiki that a Trent sapling called the Demon Lord Seedling was stolen from the Monster Research Laboratory. A traveling merchant is said to have brought the sapling to the area. This fits the time frame when people started falling into comatose. According to scholars, the sapling is parasitic, using animals and humans to spread its roots. The host's physical strengths are greatly amplified, and this allows them to travel at great speed. Kiki hears this, and her mind goes directly to Lloyd. Koba gives her a herbal mixture to add to Lloyd's food to expel the Trent from his body. Kiki finds Lloyd and tries to feed him a tea mixed with the concoction, but Koba arrives and disrupts her plan. Koba tastes the tea and realizes that it has been mixed with something else. Kiki jumps out of the window and escapes before Koba could ask any more questions. The next day, Lloyd enters a room that requested a body massage only to find out that Riho is the guest. Riho is staying at the hotel for her vacation. Riho says she doesn't need the massage again because she can't allow Lloyd to touch her. Soon afterwards, Seelin and her father arrive at the hotel. Seelin wants to escape when her father informs her that he has arranged a marriage for her. Seelin doesn't want to be with anyone except Lloyd. It turns out that the person her father is planning to marry her off to is Alan. Threnine is Alan's father. Threnine, Seelin and her father are seen waiting for Alan inside the hall. Seelin is ready to eliminate Alan the moment he enters the room. The door opens, and to everyone's surprise, Lloyd is introduced as the proposed groom. Seelin couldn't be happier, and she drags Lloyd out of the room without a second thought. We later get to find out that Alan fell sick that morning, and that's the reason Threnine made Lloyd act as his son. Seelin suggests that they go on a date so they can investigate what has been causing the comatose incidents, and Lloyd agrees. This girl just looks for any opportunity to be with Lloyd. Lloyd, Seelin and Riho are still thinking of how to proceed with their investigation when Shoma arrives with a carriage of explosives that Seelin had ordered beforehand. She had the intention of setting everything ablaze if she was forced to marry Alan. Shoma leaves after making the delivery. Lloyd and Seelin return to their date afterward. Meanwhile, Kiki is stalking them, and she is looking for an opportunity to strike. Kiki makes her move when Seelin leaves to get drinks for them. Kiki offers Lloyd a body massage, and he accepts. Kiki brings out the concoction and starts applying it to every part of his body. She doesn't get a reaction, and she starts to wonder if the Trent is hiding in his man parts. She is about to touch his man parts when Seelin arrives and knocks her over to get the oil off of Lloyd's body. Seelin suggests that they take a hot bath together, and he agrees. While in the bath, Riho also arrives. Before Lloyd knows what is happening, Alka, Marie, and the Kinwon sisters arrive. The sisters reveal that they are now working for the kingdom, and they will resume school with Lloyd and his friends. The sisters have been hired by the kingdom to investigate the comatose case. During their group bath, Alka accidentally sees Lloyd's body, and Seelin throws her out of the pool into the woods as punishment. Inside the woods, Kiki runs into Threnine's secretary Minoki. He reveals that he is the host for the Trent. He intentionally did this to punish Threnine because of his rashness and the way he treats him badly. He uses the tentacle from his body to hold Kiki down. Threnine's assistant reveals that he now has plans to not only deal with his boss, but also take over the world. Just then, Lloyd arrives on the scene because he's looking for Alka. Lloyd sees Minoki, and he counts what he is looking at as a costume. Threnine's assistant gets angry and says he is now filled with power and that what Lloyd is looking at isn't a monster. He releases several wooden monsters from his body, but Lloyd eliminates them like it's nothing. Minoki needs nutrients to get more powerful, so he starts heading to the hotel to devour people while Lloyd is dealing with his minions. Meanwhile, Threnine and Seelin's father are having a meeting. Threnine finds out that Minoki has been making deals with Seelin's father behind his back. Suddenly, a mutated Minoki shows up behind them and is about to attack Threnine, but Lloyd's friends arrive and engage the Trent. During the attack, debris falls on Seelin's father, and she starts looking for ways to remove her father from under the debris. On the other hand, Alan wakes up to see trouble in paradise. Rio is prepping to attack the Trent with the explosives that Seelin bought earlier. Alan joins hands with her, and they start attacking Minoki with the explosives. The Kinwon sisters summon a water beast to engulf the monster, and Riho freezes him up with diamond dust. They soon realize that they have not won the battle unless they destroy the Trent's core. Seelin tells her father that she loves another person and that the arranged marriage won't work. Another debris that is sure to finish Seelin's father is about to fall on him. But Lloyd arrives just in time and removes Seelan's father from under the debris. Marie then asks Lloyd to defeat the monster because he is the only one that can. Lloyd initially freezes up when he hears the word monster. This boy is definitely kidding me if he thinks all the giant locusts he has been defeating are not monsters. Lloyd only counts them as unusually big animals. Lloyd finally summons the courage and attacks Minoki. With just one punch, he breaks the Trent's body and retrieves the core. He destroys the core and the Trent is immediately expelled. Lloyd is happy that he finally defeated a monster, even though everything he has been eliminating casually are monsters or monsters. Later on, we see that Shoma is working for the man who wants to kill Alka. Shoma buries Alka in the woods, but she manages to escape. Turns out that Alka is immortal and she has been alive for quite some time now. The following morning, Seelan's father hands over his daughter to Lloyd and asks him to take care of her. Up next, Shoma brings Makona to the man he is working for, and he is known as Sue. Makona seeks revenge, and Sue gives her 2 potions that will make her stronger. She takes the potions and she transforms into a mutated person. Soon afterward, Lloyd and his friends receive word from the king to help kill a giant snake that has been spotted in a dungeon. On the other hand, Alka now knows that Sue is after her, and she is also tracking him down. She catches the wind that Sue might be in a dungeon, and she flies herself and Marie to the dungeon. Lloyd and his friends have also gotten to the dungeon. Seelan and Philo take Riho aside to question her if she is in love with Lloyd. During the course of the interrogation, they hear a loud bang in the cave, and they believe that it is the giant snake they are looking for. Unknown to them, it was the troublesome and immortal Kunloon chief that just crash-landed inside the cave. After the rough landing, Alka tells Marie that she is free to go, and she just continues on her own search. Marie wanders around and finds herself in a room filled with the Trent's tentacles. She looks up to see that Makona is the Trent. Maria is surprised to see that Makona has fused with a Trent parasite. Makona reveals that she is waiting for Lloyd so she can enact her revenge on him. She holds Marie with her tentacles because she wants to tickle her. Lloyd arrives in the room and demands that Makona let Marie go. A fierce battle ensues between the duo, and he even has a tough time going against the enhanced Makona. Lloyd's friends arrive at the scene during the fight, and Makona tries to hurt them. This makes Lloyd go hard against Makona. The fight was so intense that they fought and fell into another layer in the cave. Lloyd finally grabs hold of Makona, and he spins her around until he throws her out of the cave. While Lloyd's friends are still greeting him for a battle well fought, they hear a voice behind them. They look back to see a giant red snake. Turns out that the snake knows Lloyd, but Lloyd doesn't know him. The snake claims to have been sleeping inside the cave, but the intense battle woke him up. The snake then introduces himself as Vitra, and he serves as the beast guardian for Kunloon. He also protects magical seals and maintains Alka's powers. Turns out that Alka once used the Excalibur to carve out a section of Vitra's back and wanted to use it as an apron. She failed and converted it into a belt, which she sold off cheaply, and it later ended up in the hands of Seelan's father. The team starts to wonder who gave Makona the Trent parasite. Sue shows up and reveals that he is responsible. Alka also storms into the room like she is Supergirl and is surprised to see Vitra. Sue reveals that everything he has done is to find Vitra. Once he eliminates Vitra, Alka will be weakened and he can finally kill her. He quickly attacks the serpent and rips out his heart. Vitra dissolves and fades away. Alka is furious and dashes towards Sue. Sue is not moved because he believes that Alka's attack will be weak. He soon realizes that he is wrong when a powerful blow lands on his face. Sue is confused because Vritra's powers should have disappeared from Alka's body. Just then, they hear Vritra's voice coming from the belt. His spirit has jumped into Celine's belt because the belt is a part of him. Sue quickly uses a portal to escape from the room. The cave starts coming down, but they make use of Alka's crystal ball to teleport themselves out of the cave. Later that night, Lloyd realizes that Sue is the name of the protagonist in the book that Shoma gave him when he was still a kid. What a coincidence. Up next, the king receives a formal request from the Jew Empire to organize an exhibition match between the two nations to show everyone that there is no bad blood between them. The king chooses Alan as their champion, but everyone really thought he would pick Lloyd. Later on, we see Lloyd and his friends traveling to Kunloon. Seelan has the intention of getting Lloyd's family members to sign the marriage form she has arranged. Rio is going there with the aim of acquiring valuables and making money with them. Philo just wants to meet someone tough. However, the main purpose of the visit is to fix Vritra. They soon get to a portal that leads to the village, and Alka calls out the gatekeeper Yug Yugas of Dwarven royalty, and she has also been alive for quite some time like Alka. They enter the portal, and it takes them directly to Kunloon. The visitors are a little disappointed with what they are looking at. Some believe that Kunloon will be filled with gold, while some think it will be filled with terrifying monsters. They soon realize that there is more than meets the eye when they discover the villagers are extremely strong. The villagers even use cannons to launch themselves if they are going somewhere far. Philo gets to meet Lloyd's grandpa Period, and she tells him about how she has mastered his technique, called the Period style. Colleen and Chrome and Alka inform them that he is working in the wheat fields. They find Murdahan, who is now a completely different person and now takes pleasure in agriculture. Later on, Seelan presents Lloyd's family with marriage papers that she wants them to sign. Just then, a dragon walks by the house, and the kids turn the documents into paper arrows which they use in chasing away the dragon. Seelan is devastated because getting the papers signed is the main reason she came to the village. That night, the visitors are treated to special dishes made from a variety of monster meat. They are hesitant to try it at first, but they find it to be delicious when they finally summon the courage to eat it. Before the villagers leave for their respective houses, they ask Lloyd to show them their girlfriend. When he fails to produce any from the girls, some of the kids tell Lloyd that they prefer Rajo. Period says he likes Philo instead. No one even mentions Seelan, and I'm sure someone is going to suffer for this. It doesn't take long before Seelan starts to blame the belt for not being anyone's favorite. Yug shows Seelan the new proposed body for Vritra, and it even looks more ugly than the last. Moments later, Yug and Alka sit down to talk about Sue. During their conversation, it clearly shows that they are afraid that things might go wrong if Vritra gains his memories. Shortly after, Murderhan reveals how he ended up being manipulated by the Demon Lord. He saw a merchant that gave him a mysterious egg, and, for some reason, Murdahan presented it to the king. Something came out of the egg that then possessed both him and the king. When Murderhan is describing the merchant, he says the merchant used the phrase, "What do I look like to you?" Marie has heard that phrase before, but she can't seem to remember where. The following day, Yug and the rest of the team leave for a castle known as the Last Dungeon. The castle is a prison for demon lords, and they aim to revitalize Vritra at the castle. Jolene wonders if people will believe her if she publishes a book about the dungeon, but Chrome tells her to make people believe the existence of Kunloon first. Yug informs the group that the Holy Sword is the key to opening the dungeon and releasing the demon lords. This has been the reason Sue has been trying to get his hands on the sword. Yug asks about the whereabouts of the sword, and Chrome reveals that it is being kept at the palace treasury. Onto the process of resurrecting Vritra, Yug collects the belt from Seelan and performs some funny ritual on it. When she is done, Vritra is now in a spherical container, and Alka feels very weak. Yug says it's normal for her to be weak. Chrome and the others need to head back because of the exhibition match, and Yug is still holding on to Vritra. Lloyd wants to say goodbye to the villagers before they leave. Yug tells Alka that she needs to see her in the woods before they leave for Azami. Yug and Alka enter the woods, and Yug traps Alka inside a trap hole. We get to find out that Yug, Shoma, and Sue have been working together. Yug pretended to have resurrected Vritra, but what she did was actually seal him away. Yug munches down on the lollipop she always has with her as she explains her plans to Alka. Since she knows where the sword is, her aim is to obtain it. Alka just looks on helplessly as Yug explains her evil plans. When Yug reunites with the group, she lies to them that Alka has decided to stay. The rest of the team uses the portal to leave, but Yug stays behind to inform Lloyd that Alka is in the woods. After successfully sending Lloyd to the woods, Yug enters the gate also and renders it unusable. Upon getting to the other side, Yug is surprised to see Murdahan. He says he just wants to distribute vegetables in Azami and return. Later that day, Yug offers to buy Riho's prosthetic arm. Riho needs time to think about it, and Yug leaves. Riho runs into Mina, and together they visit Roll in the hospital. Roll tries to describe the people who manipulated her, and during her description, Rio realizes that Sue is the man that usually asks, "What do I look like to you?" As she continues her description, she mentions a child chewing on something. It immediately dawns on Rio that Yug is the person she is calling a child because she is a dwarf and she likes to eat lollipops. Later on, Rio finds the king and begs him to postpone the exhibition match because she feels something is wrong. The king asks Chrome if he can trust Rio, and he says yes. When the king learns that Rio and Seelan are friends with his daughter, he drags the two away to have tea with them while they talk about Marie. That night, Lloyd finds Alka in the woods and reveals that he was able to find her because he once fell into the hole when he was a kid. Alka and the rest rescued him then, and he has forever been grateful. On the other hand, Sue is preparing everything they need to make their plans smoother. Even Makona is with them, and she still seeks revenge after being defeated by Lloyd the last time. Lloyd takes Alka back to the village. Alka and the villagers then use a cannon to launch Lloyd out of the village because the portal is no longer usable. At the exhibition match, Alan is to face off with a person under a hood. The unknown person removes the hood and turns out to be Makona. She knocks out Alan with one hit. The king is shocked by what he is seeing. Sue makes a move about his desire to make peace. Chrome wants to make a move, but Shoma shows up and cautions him. Sue tables an offer to the king, but he refuses. He then gives Yug the go-ahead to continue with their plan since the king is not ready to hand over the holy sword. Yug enters the arena, but she is surrounded by Riho, Seelan, Marie, and Philo because Riho was already aware of her betrayal. Yug just laughs at them because she is well aware that they are no match for her. The only people that can stop her are currently trapped in Kunloon, at least that's what she thinks. Yug summons giant locusts to hold the viewers and audience hostage. It comes as a shock to Shoma and Sue when the audience brings out weapons. The king already saw the attack coming and had replaced the audience with soldiers and adventurers. Murthafan arrives at the scene and says he has heard all about Shoma. Murthafan transforms into a funny costume and is ready to battle Shoma. Murderfan pushes Shoma to the arena. Shoma reveals that he was bored of the world and didn't want Lloyd to feel that way. That's the reason he kept telling him to become strong and noble, because he wants him to save the world. Everything they have done is for Lloyd. They want to make him a hero. Shoma admits that Murderfan has gotten stronger, but he is still no match for him. Shoma uses a blitz attack to knock out Murdahan. On the other hand, Makona sees Marie and starts toying with her until Riho arrives and kicks her into the wall to knock her out. Sue is still threatening the king when Alan shows up behind him and cuts off his arm. They are shocked when Sue's arm reattaches itself. Sue decides to tell them everything about him and how he came to be. Sue is a being made of runes, like a hero, a human, and an immortal. Sue was created when the world was in chaos as a beacon of hope to save and lead humanity. He was created by Alka, and he was supposed to vanish once the world was saved, but it didn't happen. Sue remained an inconclusive existence bound by the concept of hero. Sue has the intention of vanishing completely, but he needs another person to take his place as the hero. The person he has in mind is Lloyd. Just then, Lloyd arrives in the arena. Lloyd is so naive that he thinks everything happening is due to the exhibition match. Lloyd demands that Yug return the spherical ball where she is holding Vritra. Yug removes the lollipop from her mouth and turns it into a golem. Yug then fuses the golem with an unconscious Makona. Lloyd engages the golem, but every time he damages it, it regenerates. Rio says the golem is using Makona as its regeneration source. The golem gets the upper hand and starts dealing blows on Lloyd, and he has no answer to it. Lloyd is sad that he can't defeat an actual monster. Murderfin shows up and reminds Lloyd that he has always had the desire to be strong and noble at the same time. Marie and Rio manage to get Makona conscious and get her out of the golem. With Makona out of the golem, its regeneration ability is gone. Seelan also sneaks behind Yug and steals Vritra's seal. Seelan threatens Vritra with intense training if he does not find a way out. Scared of what Seelan will do to him, Vritra surprisingly unseals himself, even to Yug's surprise. Lloyd gets on his feet and defeats the golem with one devastating attack. Just then, we see Shoma and Sue making a video recording of Lloyd as he fights. Sue is happy that Lloyd is now the hero. It then dawns on Yug that Shoma and Sue only helped her so that Lloyd would become a hero. Alka also shows up and eliminates all the locusts still flying around. She urges Yug to give up, or she will be forced to use everything within her power to destroy her. Yug is still insisting that she will release the power of the last dungeon, so she can control it and make the world advanced. Alka is about to attack Yug, but Shoma whisks her away. Sue says he would love to stay and fight Alka, but he has so much heroic footage of Lloyd to edit. Shoma is looking forward to more heroic moments from Lloyd. The trio then uses a portal to escape. Turns out that everything was just planned out to help Lloyd become a hero. Later on, Lloyd has dinner with all of his friends and family.